$162 in savings through privatization. That again, that allows us to balance the budget.
I guess Supervisor Pinches.
I support that idea. There's another option here too. If you want to do whatever your balance, your negative balance is, we can transfer some money out of our general fund reserve.
To balance it.
We're up against the wall. We got to come up with something definite today to make it move forward next week. That's an option we do have. We have $1,900,000 something in the general fund reserve. We can do that, and then if make a direction of any additional revenues come in through budget savings, or if we decide this year to go forward with furloughs or whatever, we can put that back in the general fund reserve.
I would support that on the grounds here that if it were made very clear, that's the first refill area, rather than go with affecting solid waste budget. I think that gets us into a whole set of issues there.
Exactly. I would support.
But if we borrowed, in effect, borrowed from it with the expectation we are going to refill it, it still doesn't deal with the teeter issue. Mm-hmm. But if we look at this 1, 2, and 3.
So, to move this along, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we leave the teeter plan proposal in place that was proposed by the CEO's office, which basically leaves it within, I think, $10,000, $12,000 what it was last year. And we fund what's already been funded in those outside commitments, leave those in there.
External funding. And
leave the solid waste landfill account alone. Basically do what's on this sheet of paper here. And if need be, with the RCRC commitment being $12,000 taken off. So that would, and balance the budget with a general fund reserve of no more than $200,000 to go in that, with the realization that the first $200,000 we have in revenues from any source, whether it's a Mill Creek settlement or anything, go into to pay back the general fund reserve.
I would have.
Is that a motion?
Can I just? I will second that.
Yes, absolutely.
If you would also add, though, with the directive to begin immediately to be looking at furloughs.
Oh, certainly, and all the other issues. And Supervisor Dell brought up the issue of maybe there's some possible savings, and you brought up a few. All those, which the CEO's office is quite aware of.
Okay, there is a motion, there is a second. Now for discussion, Supervisor Delaware.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Pinches, does that motion include something a little more definitive in terms of a direction to the CEO's office to bring back proposals with timelines? Because if we just say, again, leave it fluffy, it's liable to fall through cracks.
Well, in order to do that, we're going to have to name what the proposals are and put the timeline on.
I don't think we need to be that specific today, but just say by a date certain, proposals will come back to us with a scope of work, so to speak, of proposals to look at, which we can refine, but I just want a date to where that's going to happen, start that process.
Within the first quarter of the fiscal year.
First quarter of the fiscal year.
It's almost gone.
It's almost gone.
Within the second quarter of the fiscal year.
Maybe we could do it at the first mid-year report out?
Well, that would be it.
That would be it.
I'd like to see it sooner.
That's in February.
No, that's too long.
Too late? Okay.
Within the second quarter.
Then the second quarter is.
That can be the first month in the second quarter, or the third month.
Prior to the departure of the chair.
Oh,
could you read that motion? Please.
I was just going to ask for that.
And will be cleaned up based on listening back to the record. But the board would leave the teeter plan in place as proposed by the CEO, fund the outside commitments, leave the solid waste landfill closure account alone, do what's on the sheet of paper, and if need be, reduce RCRC, And at the first receipt of revenues, add back to general fund reserves. Direct staff to immediately begin looking at furloughs, and direct staff to return within the second quarter of the fiscal year on the board commitments.
No, not need be, the RCRC,
I thought he
do away
just
with
said.
it.
Go ahead and do
She
it, okay.
said leave it alone. Okay.
What?
Want me to read it again?
No, I think that's good.
Uh,
David, do you,
That's not touching the landfill, is that?
Not, I just need a clarification. It sounded like she said, don't, there's
Leave the solid
misunderstanding.
waste landfill account alone.
Right. I think you said it.
That meant
We'll make it sound
185
better.
was on the sheet and we don't touch it, to me. Okay.
Okay,
What about the housekeeping items? That wasn't addressed.
we fired the housekeeper this morning.
those were all part of the proposed budget.
We let her
Correct.
go last week.
You and the governor of Alaska.
We sold the plane on eBay, is that okay?
How much we get for
Well,
that?
and I don't charge for my residence, so.
What do we do?
Okay, so are we clear on the motion before us? We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Glassy?
So and maybe it was because I was distracted. So there's a $165,000 gap. So how was that being filled? Out of general reserves?
General reserve transfer of $200,000, I believe.
No
was
more
stated.
than $200,000?
Just make